What's going on, everybody? How's everybody doing today? I'm super excited to get with you guys as I always am, but today it's a little bit different. It's not Hump Day. Today is Thursday. I don't even know what they call Thursday, but um, we're here and we're here to give you some content. Super excited and welcome to the Sports Lounge powered by the Mogul Brand Corporation. I have my co-host here, Mark Crandall. You guys know the faces below. Um, we got Fantasy Blitz in the house, and we also have Dice Will. Go follow them on their pages and everything that they got going on. Wonderful stuff that's happening with the NFL Columbine, and Fantasy's been covering it. Dice Will's over there doing some digital work. Mark has been doing some stuff behind the scenes as well. And I've been crazy busy trying to give you guys the best that we have for the Sports Lounge, getting the seasons set up for 2025 and 2026 season. So I've been extra busy with that. But I'm so glad that you're here. If you're here live, put hashtag live. If you're here in the replay, put hashtag replay. Mark, give us our sponsors.
Hey, I want to thank our sponsors. Of course, we have Cali Built Graphics, who takes care of all of our shirt needs, hat needs, anything you need made. Just hit up Rigo Cali Built Graphics here in Tulare, California. Then, secondly, of course, we've got number one sports fan located in Tulare, Vice and Hanford. Here in the Central Valley, obviously we all know we deal with a lot here in the Central Valley of California, but hit them up. They also have their website at numberonesportsfan.com. Thirdly, we have Brian Martino Construction. Brian Martino is a great man, honest man. And if you need any of your construction remodels needed, any $10,000 job, let them know that the Sports Lounge sent you, and they will give you $1,000 off of that remodel. So we appreciate each one of you sponsors and all the work that you guys do for us. And of course, we have the Mogul brand. That's our biggest one, and their new their diamond collection that's getting ready to coming out. That's what I'm ready for. I don't know about you guys. Hey, I'm stoked about that one.
Should we show them a sneak peek?
Let's show them a sneak peek.
All right, let's give them a sneak peek. Let me see it. Let me see if I can pull it up right here. Because I think this is the first time. I think Fantasy's seen it, right? No,
I think I know what you're talking about.
Bow. They're here. The beverages.
Diamond.
Here.
The diamond collection. Hey.
Hold on. One more. Hold on. I got one more for the people.
You guys will be getting those for giveaways and stuff pretty soon.
Boom.
There you go.
So real quick, Mikey, you being the El Jefe of the Mogul brand, dealing with the diamond collection, all the work you're doing.
And I'm your 2025 top 50 business leader in all of Vegas. Again.
I'm going to ask this. So we know that the diamond collection's coming. Okay, we know that the diamond collection's coming out. We know you've been blessed and had this opportunity to do this. Dealing with a very healthy water. I'm going to ask the question: when are we going to see the website active?
Friday, tomorrow.
There it is.
Tomorrow, man.
So tomorrow the website is going to be active, and you'll be seeing everybody talk about it. It is going to be posted up right away. As soon as it is active, we will make sure that it's posted up on our Facebook and Instagram pages with everything. So this way they know where you got to go. And man, I will tell you this, you all need some healthy water, things like that. I can vouch for the work that Chosen has done behind the scenes. Plus the work that he's done with Dr. Charity, it's one of the healthiest waters that you're going to be able to drink. And I'm very fortunate and blessed to have the opportunity to know this man, because he's always worried about people's health, not just the physical health, but also the mental health. And it's supposed to help with every aspect and bettering yourself. And it also starts in the inside.
Yeah, let me say this too. I want to be, I didn't mean to come off, boastful or anything like that. I'm just super excited about the opportunity to be able to people and the work that we're putting in with Fantasy Blitz down there. We got Sunshine State Eagle. We a proud mention. Got Down South Philly. We have SML bets that we're bringing out. The red zone that, or it's not going to be called the red zone. It's actually going to be first and goal. We're there's so many people and aspirations that I'm looking forward to, and these people are the people who inspire me to do what I do and to create businesses from the ground up. And it's been an exciting. It's because of them that I do what I do, is to help people. So the nomination was great, but helping them is way better, and seeing them grow. So I will say that that's from the bottom of my heart. I was a little excited, but I was excited for the nomination because I've been putting in a lot of hours helping these guys grind, helping these guys get to their next steps in their future, which is going to be great things that are happening. So watch out for these guys. Like I said one more time, Fantasy Blitz. Look out for all of his content. Sunshine State Eagle, and then Eagles Nest, Down South Philly Show, Kindle, Ken Pat Talks, and everything that we have with the Sports Lounge Media Group. Yeah, we're going to be covering everything this next season, so it's going to be an amazing ride. But appreciate you guys, and then with the Mogul brand, you guys know that subcontract work, all the stuff that I do behind the scenes as well. Blessed, lucky, and fortunate to be doing those as well. But appreciate you guys for your belief in me and inspiring me as well.
There it is. There it is. So, hey, let's get into tonight's show. What do we got? We got the NBA. Nothing but actors out there on the floor. But let's check it out. What do we got, Mikey?
Yeah, so we're gonna do a weekly, the weekly recap. Yeah, man. Let's talk about this last week. Starting on Sunday, we had tons of games on Sunday. Let's talk about some of those games that were on Sunday that were really huge games. The Knicks and the Celtics. Celtics pulled that game off 118 to 105. We were thinking that the Knicks brought in Carl Towns, going to be a little bit more dominant. It seemed a lot more closer than what the score initially is. Do you guys think that this Knicks team is in it? As they're progressing and getting better every time that they hit the floor, do you think that this team is a team that could knock out maybe a Cleveland or a Boston team?
No. That's like I said. No.
I think the Knicks are good, but I think the Boston Celtics are that much better. Boston's one of 6 of their last 7 wins over Cleveland and New York. I think that they've obviously cemented themselves as the top threat in the East. Jason Tatum is arguably in his prime now. Jaylen Brown's not far behind. I think they're arguably one of the best 2 wing players in the league. I think Boston's got good. What they got going for them is really good. But I just think they're that much better than the Knicks. It's not a knock on the Knicks. I think they moved the right pieces. They've improved over last year, getting Karl Anthony Towns. But I mean, Boston is just Boston.
Yeah, let's go to the next game. We got the Mavericks and Klay Thompson visiting his old team back in Golden State versus the Golden State Warriors. Golden State Warriors did win that game 126 to 102. What is your thoughts about let's talk about we're going to talk about the Mavs, but let's switch it a little bit. Let's talk about the Golden State Warriors. They beat them 126 to 102. Is this where Jimmy Butler is supposed to be?
Yeah, I had told somebody the other day that this is the Jimmy Butler effect. Being a Miami Heat fan, I've experienced this. It seems like when he gets a change of scenery, he gets a fire lit underneath him. He's a great player. Now, will we ever see Bubble Jimmy again? No, that was a one-time thing. But again, as a fan, I've appreciated Jimmy Butler from close. This is the Jimmy Butler that I knew he could be. We had talked last week, and that this is a trade that we had talked about. Butler going to Golden State. And this is, I think, one of the bigger moves that was made for a postseason push. And Golden State is trying to get back to title winning, and I think Butler could be the answer. He's playing hard. So
myself, I'm actually I agree and yet I disagree because I think Golden State is still missing that one big piece. I think the biggest problem is that not having a big, having Draymond Green play as your five. I understand it plays a different ball than the era that I've always been used to, where there is actually a real center, not 7'10" guys shooting 3-pointers. But to me, it's just that Draymond Green has to learn to keep himself out of foul trouble, period.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the big thing because he does, he plays with a lot of passion. And sometimes that passion is going to get the best of him. And that's his biggest downfall. And that's where it's like, you got guys that there's really not, in that Dallas game, Golden State game, I mean, I want to say he's only averaging like 6 boards a game total. But he only had 4. So they're not really having a big as their biggest problem. They're not going to get second chance points. And I think that's what's going to affect Golden State right now for making that big run.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go to this next game, the Pistons and the Hawks. Reason why I want to talk about the Pistons is right now, I think currently ranked number 6 in the East.
Yeah.
Is this a team to be worried about? I mean, there was a big transition of last year to this year, right? I think they were last in the league last year, and this year turning around and is this a team that could actually be one of those sleeper teams to knock out one of those big teams in the first round?
I don't necessarily think that they're upset ready. They're hot right now, but we all know that about NBA playoffs, or any playoffs for that matter, it's about when you get hot and at the right time, right? I think they're just a little bit too early on their hot streak. But on the other side, Cade Cunningham is him. Cade Cunningham has definitely taken that leap. He is the leader of this team.
For sure.
And I've been very, very impressed with Cunningham by far this year. I think they're a couple pieces away from being a threat, but again, they might make the bottom end of a playoff. But do I think that they beat a Cleveland or a Boston? No.
I mean, I can see them beating them a game.
Yeah, not in a series, correct?
Yeah,
But not in the series. It's the same. I mean, again, it's the same exact concept. Their starting center, Isaiah Stewart, he splits time between him and Jalen Duran. So you got a 6'10" and a 6'8" guy. I mean, that's the biggest thing is you're giving up the height advantage for the second chance points.
Right.
And I think, and the reason why I think for me, because I know that this NBA has changed to a 3-point threat. I got to shoot everything outside. Well, guess what? You got to have somebody down low. And when you're giving up 4 to 5 inches against other people, unless if you're figuring out how to box, body him out and stuff like that. Now, Isaiah Stewart, you got a 250-pound man, but still, you're giving up that height advantage. So that's where I think the big disadvantage is. I think the same exact thing. They're missing that big body center that will help with those second chance points. But I agree with you 100%. Fantasy Cade Cunningham is, to me, I will say he is the next star of the NBA. I think he's, to be 23 years old and to be the leader of a franchise, they built this team around Cade Cunningham.
Yeah.
They had one of the worst stretches. It wasn't just last year having the worst record. They went on, I want to say, like 3 years in a row with one of the worst records in the NBA.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big thing for me.
Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on to your team.
Speaking of Golden State, Curry's currently got 52 and just hit his 11th 3 of the game.
Oh, wow.
Curry's not done yet.
As always.
Still got gas. That boy still got gas.
Yeah. So
let's get make them better.
Yeah, 100%. But let's get to your team, Miami Heat, man. Miami Heat went to visit Milwaukee Bucks. Unfortunately, they did lose. Yeah, unfortunately, they lost 120 to 113. What do you see that needs to be different with the Miami Heat now that they lost Jimmy Butler? What pieces do you think that they would need to make another run?
It's and I said this when we talked about the trade. I think that it's going to be a couple years until we really see the bigger picture of this trade. I didn't like the return that we got. Kyle Anderson, Andrew Wiggins was obviously the highlight of that, but it's not a highlight to me. We got some nice draft capital. It is what it is. A top 10 protected, I believe. But again, it's going to take a while to see how this all pans out. Now, obviously, losing Jimmy Butler is a piece that it takes a while to recover from, being probably your number one option on offense. But I'm a big Tyler Hero fan. I love Bam Adebayo. I watched the draft when we drafted him, and it was kind of like one of those who are we talking about? And I've loved him. I've loved him since he's been in a Heat uniform. But Tyler Hero is going to be another superstar in the making. Won the 3-point contest this year. I just think that we got some young talent. Jaquez Jr. But the Heat. I don't think we're close to contending, to be honest with you. If I'm being real, like I said, it'll take a couple drafts, maybe a couple free agents. If we get a Kevin Durant in a trade, maybe things change, but I don't see that really happening. So,
okay, let's get to the next game. And this was kind of like a preview of the playoffs. We got SGA going to the Minnesota Timberwolves playing against Ant-Man. They end up winning that game. The Thunder won that game, which is really shocking to me. 130 to 123. I wasn't really high. I haven't been high on the Thunder, even though the Thunder had really great regular season games. I just feel that they're not just ready for playoffs yet. Maybe it's experience. I don't know what it is because they do have a great team. But I think the Timberwolves are just a little bit better. And towards the end of that game, they kind of lost their way. But in a 7-game series, I could see the Timberwolves winning that. Ant-Man's been playing phenomenal. And then you got Gobert always doing what Gobert does down low. So it was exciting to see that type of competitiveness between two teams that I think that we'll probably see in the playoffs maybe. But if not, they're two caliber playoff teams. Thoughts on that game before we move on to the next day?
Well, they just got Chet Holmgren back. OKC did. And his first 2 games back, he's had 9 blocks. Which that's obviously a big pivotal piece that's missing from your lineup if that's how it comes back into it. But I think OKC is arguably the best team in the West, if not the entire NBA. I think they are very young. I think this team has been mended and made with over years of work. Obviously, SGA started in what was it, Los Angeles Clippers. Mm-hmm. They got him in a trade for, was it Leonard? No, it wasn't Leonard. No, it was Paul George. In the Paul George trade, I believe. They got obviously their franchise player there. Chet Holmgren was drafted. They just traded for Hardenstein, or did they sign him this last year?
Signed him.
Okay, signed him. Yeah, Isaiah Hardenstein. That's a big piece for them. That's a big center, but he was in New York. I love Jalen Williams. He is a stud. And with Hardenstein and Holmgren back, he kind of falls into that 6-man role. But I like Dort. I think Dort's a great shooter. I just think they have overall talent. They're all young. But I do agree that youngness could be a problem come playoff time. So we'll see.
And just to add on Monday, so the very next day they played against Timberwolves went to Oklahoma City and beat them 131 to 128 on Monday. That was a much better game for Ant and company. Also in that week, we had the Heat losing to the Hawks 98 to 86. And then the Nuggets beat the Pacers, which the Pacers we haven't talked about a lot this year. But the Pacers end up losing that game to the Nuggets 125 to 116. Pistons once again pull it off 106 to 97 against the Los Angeles Clippers. Let's move into Tuesday, guys. Tuesday's where it's at. Let's start from the bottom. The Warriors. The Warriors beat the Hornets. Not really a surprise. 128 to 92. Pelicans beat the Spurs 109 to 103. And my prayers go out to why am I drawing a blank? To their coach,
Popovich.
And Greg Popovich, yeah.
Popovich, for having that mild stroke. We just talked about him last week and how his age was catching up to him and when he was going to retire. And next week we're on live now here and he's retired basically. And that's kind of crazy that we were talking about it last week and it happened, all jokes aside. But I mean, prayers go to him. Wemby's going to be fine. But yeah, Pelicans end up pulling that game off. Grizzlies, here we go. So Grizzlies, we'll talk about this one a little bit. We got Ja Morant and the Grizzlies winning. This is crazy numbers. Final overtime, 151 to 148 against the Suns.
It was a game.
Yeah. So thoughts on the Grizzlies and the Suns, man. We haven't really talked about them much. KD doing KD things. Ja Morant doing Ja Morant things. He's calmed down this season. Can we talk about that a little bit? I mean, he's calmed down, set into his own. I don't know who talked to him in the offseason, but he's not getting into none of these extracurriculars anymore, and he's actually playing basketball, and that's helped his team win 151 to 148. Comments?
Yeah.
For me, I think that Memphis is a sleeper for me in the West. As of right now, we'll get into Western Conference Final predictions later, but Memphis could be a very high possibility against an OKC or an LA or there could be you could see Memphis in the finals this year. I think Ja Morant is a big answer to that. Jaren Jackson Jr. is also a phenomenal player. They have some guys stepping up over there. Don't they have Marcus Smart?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they got some pieces in this last offseason, some defensive pieces that have really helped them out. But on the other side of the ball, I don't really think the Suns are going to amount to much as long as KD is a Phoenix Sun. I think they need to, it's like a sore on their back that you just got to get rid of. And I just think that until that is fixed, that problem is fixed, I don't think the Suns will be relevant. I think that they could get a haul for Kevin Durant, obviously, but they need to do it soon. And I see it this summer. KD is going to be on a different team for sure.
Yeah, me too. Dice, you were saying something?
Yeah, I'd say if the Grizzlies keep it healthy and if Morant just stays out of trouble this year, you could definitely see them being contenders.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Move on. Let's move on then. Milwaukee Bucks against the Rockets. Rockets pull off another one, 197 against the Milwaukee Bucks. We got the Cavaliers doing what Cavaliers has been doing all season long at number one, at top of the East, 122 to 82. I will say that Spida, Mitchell has been playing lights out. Last year he had an injury, and this year he's came back and set into his own. He's set the tempo for that team. You also got Garland over there doing some good things as well.
Evan Mobley.
You got Allen getting boards and doing what a center should be doing, right? He gets offensive boards, second opportunities, putting it back up. Often defensively, he's been blocking shots and getting in position to get those rebounds and get the ball up the floor quickly. So that team is set up to look like they're going to maybe upset a couple of teams and make a run this year. Thoughts on that?
I think for Cleveland, for me, when they got DeAndre Hunter, they made a move to better matchup with Boston. I think, the one thing that they have lacked against Boston is that wing defender to guard Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum at any time. And when they went and got DeAndre Hunter, I think that definitely put them in the position to possibly battle Boston a little bit better. But I mean, like I said, it's them in Boston. It's anybody's game right now. So,
I think for that one for Cleveland, the big thing is honestly, it's not Donovan Mitchell. For me, it's Evan Mobley.
Yeah, Mobley's huge.
You got a guy, power forward was averaging, I want to say the last right around 20 points a game. He's pretty dang consistent. He's doing his part on the boards. And so for me, I think that's the key factor has been Evan Mobley. Yeah, so I'm looking at it right now. So it's 18.9 points with 9.3 boards a game. I'm just like, that's exactly what you need from a big type player, and I think that was a great ordeal when they drafted him a few years ago, and he's kind of panning out now, coming into a league of his own himself.
Yeah. Well, let's go to question number 2, guys. Question number 2 is thoughts on the Lakers versus the Mavs. The Lakers, they were at home, and the Mavs came, try to make a push, and end up losing that game. It was a hell of a game. I would tell you that. The Lakers did win 107-99. It wasn't close towards the end, and they were up by 16 at one point in the first couple quarters. It really, to me, looks like Luka and LeBron are starting to get into sync, which is kind of scary to me because they made Haynes looks like lively or like one of these really good bigs in this game. And then you got your Hachimura and then AR-15 shooting them, and then Mark's boy Connect shooting them threes from the corners. That made all the difference, and I'm glad that trade didn't go through and it got to keep Connect, because Connect was the sniper that they needed. Because when you can pass the ball to Luka, and then Luka goes down, draws in a couple of defenders, kicks the ball to LeBron. LeBron gets those 2 defenders to sync. Now you got Connect in the corners and the wings. He's going to knock that down 9 times out of 10. So it's what they needed to keep this thing going. And, of course, Luka can shoot 3. And I was hoping that Luka scored 60 this game or 50 this game. But he did have a triple-double. He ended the game with a triple-double. And he was pretty damn close to it at halftime. So which was kind of crazy. So this game was a really big game. It told me what the Lakers do have. Their bench looked phenomenal as well, keeping them in the game and doing what they do. Vanderbilt played awesome defense. On the flip side, Kyrie Irving is really, he was the one that kept him in that game. You had the other guy, was his name Braun or Bond? Was the other one guy that got injured? Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was the other guy that was kind of like, who is this dude? Because he started like scoring out of nowhere. But to me, this trade was so crazy that now Luka gets to play alongside LeBron. I feel that he has now less stress. But Kyrie did show up. But my question is what happens when Kyrie, if this was a 7-game series, who do you guys got winning the series?
For me, I would have LA winning the series. If Anthony Davis is back, maybe we're having a different conversation. I still don't think so, but both of these teams, in my opinion, need a better bench. Lakers are still missing that big man that they've been thriving for. Obvious things are obviously the Lakers have a big 3 now, right? Luka, LeBron, and let's say AR-15. Luka had 19, 15, and 12. LeBron had 27 and 12, and then Reese had 20 points. I constitute that as, a big 3 that's the top 3 options, no arguments there. On the other side, Kyrie 35, Clay 22 and 8, and then Christie. He did have 13 shot attempts. He only made 4, but it's nice to see they're trying to get Max Christie involved, which was obviously made with the Luka trade. But again, had 3 players on their bench play under 15 minutes. It just didn't seem like the bench was used very much. 5 players on the bench didn't play because of coach's decision. So, it just kind of seemed like maybe the trust.
Which is crazy because which is crazy fantasy because they have Alex Lynn, who's that big that you're
he did
talking
not play.
about,
He did not
and he
play.
did not play that game.
Correct.
And then also Cam Reddish didn't play, or Morris, those are big facilitators, role players, and also defensive players.
I just think to make a deep playoff run, they're going to have to get that bench involved, find another big man. Keep hearing about maybe Dwight Howard coming back. You know, maybe that's serviceable
I would like to see him
now, but
I like to see him on a 1 year.
Solve the big man issue, and so does Dallas. Dallas doesn't have anybody. Anthony Davis deserves to play the 4 anyway, but Dallas is down bad. Dallas is way gone. Even if they do make the playoffs, I see him as a first round exit. But LA could make a deep playoff run if they rely on the bench a little bit more, because I don't see Luka and LeBron playing 40 minutes all the way down the stretch. So,
see, on that game, I'm going to say the key factor was PJ Washington for Dallas.
Yeah.
PJ Washington, 35 minutes, managed to go 0 for 9 from the field goal. You know, you finished the game with 0 points. He did finish with 10 boards, 8 of them defensively, and to me, it's like, dude, you got to figure something out, because even if you shoot 50%, let's say he goes 6 for 9, gets 12 points, just 12.
Yep.
Okay. Guess what? That beats the Lakers.
Yep.
He even got 10 points.
I don't know, because it changes the game, definitely, but I don't think that they still beat the Lakers.
But he's just saying it was they won by less than 12 points. You know what I mean? That's what
exactly. So when you got guys that it's like, okay, you shoot 0 for 9. I understand. Yeah, Max Christie did go 4 for 13, finished with 10 points. Max Christie's really not going to be that big of a key factor in that game. I know, honestly, Max Christie really isn't a big key factor, in my personal opinion, with Dallas. It's going to be the Kyrie Clay show until Anthony Davis comes back. PJ Washington, normally he would line up usually at a small forward, but they're having to play him at a power forward, and it's the same concept. You're playing, your power forward is 6'6". LeBron James is 6'9", 6'10".
Right.
I mean, you got a stick versus you got a stick versus a grown man type thing. It's like, no, you're going to lose that battle all the time. And, you nailed it down the head when you talked about the triple double. I mean, Luka with 15 boards, LeBron with 12. I mean, that's 27 boards, and plus Jackson Hayes had hit 8. I mean, when it comes to the board wise, besides for PJ Washington and Klay Thompson, pretty much there was no other type of rebounding whatsoever when it came to them. So that's the big key factor. Obviously you're seeing so many shots. I mean, I still think it's ridiculous. They need to learn to, start shooting down, at least mid-range. I mean, gosh, but of course when you're playing behind, and like you said, Mikey, at halftime it was an 8-point game, is what it was. By the end of the third, it was a 15-point game. By the end of the third, it was actually only a 1-point game. And then they just got blown out, So they caught up going into the third, by the end of the third. But like I said, that key factor, I mean, you're shooting 0 for 9. You got to figure something out. I mean, you can't. I'm not expecting anyone to even shoot, 50%. Even if you're shooting 40%, man. I mean, that's still 4 field goals. And guess what? 4 field goals. Mathematically, that's at a tie game.
I mean, I played basketball, and I can tell you now, if I'm starting out 0-4, I'm finding another way to contribute. Night's not my night. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be detrimental to the team, and I'm sure every shot after that wasn't wide open, and you know what I mean? Like, I'm finding a different way to contribute.
Yeah, and to me, that's where I think it was a big factor for them, because in that game, he, like I said, he had 10 boards, he had 5 assists, he also had 4 blocks.
Right.
So he was contributing, but just not the way that, this is no longer a defensive league in the NBA. This is truly a scoring league.
I'm taking less than 9 shots.
Yeah, exactly. If I think I'm right there, I'm over 5. I'm like, all right, I can shoot the ball again. You can keep me in the game for the 35 minutes, but don't expect me to shoot whatsoever, unless if I'm dunking it.
Right.
So that's my personal thought.
Dupree.
Yeah, the Lakers definitely would win a series for that. If they get Anthony Davis, it would be closer. But if not, it's going to be a sweep. You got LeBron still playing in his prime, and Luke is there now. So that 3-way threat punch right now, if Reeves still keeps going with more than 20 points, hopefully he starts getting 30s and 25s, then they can make a big run.
Yeah, with a lot of these, one of the things too is like, we're barely seeing Luka back on a new team. We got two superstars that demand the ball, right? And we're trying to see what it looks like with them, figuring that piece out. I still got the Lakers doing some damage, man. I mean, they got all the pieces that they need. I think when Alex Lynn comes in, you're going to see a little bit more of what the matchups look like, because fantasy just as much as I do. It's all about the matchup, right? Who they match up against and how they match up against them, and then seeing LeBron and Luka kind of be like the Kyrie Irving and how I think this is more of a dominant team than the Mavs were last year, to be completely honest, just because of what the weapons that they do have off of the bench with Connect. And the guys they haven't played, and I agree 100%. They got to get these other guys involved that are on the bench or enough for them to make a deep run, and I think they will do that. We're past the second half of the season, so I'm excited to see what happens, which leads into my next question. What do you guys have for the Eastern and Western Championship? What two teams that you have? We're not going to do finals this week. We'll just do championships. What are the two teams that you have on the East?
Eastern, I have Boston and Cleveland. I think that's pretty standard. I don't really see anybody else. Detroit's not going to get any problems. New York, I can't see beating either Cleveland or Boston. I think Cleveland and Boston are the two clear favorites out of the East.
Okay.
I'm in agreement.
Okay,
yeah,
you're in agreement.
The
All
only
right.
other one I could see sneaking would be the Spurs. No, it may not be a sneak actually. Maybe the Raptors, but not for sure. Glad to see down the line.
They're not even close. But I got Cleveland. And the East is really not dominant anymore, right? It's hard to. You got Cleveland and Boston. If I would say that there would be another team, man, it's so hard. Maybe, man. Yeah, I don't have another team. I know. I'm looking at them. I'm like, I can't say them. Nah, I can't say them. I don't got another team, guys. I'm sorry.
No,
the two teams I got too.
No, to me, honestly, watching some of the Boston games and stuff like that, but a team I've paid attention to a little bit more so has been Indiana. And Indiana has beaten Boston this year. And so that's where it's like, for me, even though, I think that's the team that has the possibility to do something.
Right.
Yeah, but
you can't ever leave Giannis out of it. You can't leave Milwaukee out of it. So I guess there's that, but I still think the favorites are Boston and Cleveland.
Yeah.
The sleeper.
For me, the reason why they're the favorites is not because of their offensive side, it's because the defensive side.
Yes.
I think defensively they are the best two teams in the Eastern Conference. They are actually the only two teams that have less than or more than a 6-point differential.
Right.
And so that's where I think that's the big key factor is the defensive side. So, that's why I'm kind of stuck with them. But like I said, Indiana's right there in my personal opinion because I think they could sneak it in. Yeah, but I'm sold on Cleveland and Boston.
Let's move to the West, man. This is more competitive on the West. All the way down to 10. I think this is more interesting because it comes down to matchup, right? I think how these teams are going to match up, especially in the play-in game right now. It's looking like Golden State will play against Sacramento, and Minnesota will play against Dallas in the play-in game as we sit right now. And it just that just makes it even more interesting in the West. All 6 teams are very talented teams. You got OKC, Memphis, Denver, Houston, Lakers, and Clippers, right? But I think it all comes down to who do they play, because all of them kind of don't match up with each other. I don't think that there's 2 solid teams that are like, oh, this is exactly the same team, and they're going to battle it out, right? They all got weaknesses and strengths. So I think it comes down, this is going to be more interesting for dialogue with you guys, is who do you guys got on the Western Conference Finals?
For me, I got OKC, and I had said last week Houston, but I watched a couple Memphis games this week, and I was pretty damn impressed. Defensively, Zach Edey has really stepped up recently. Jaren Jackson Jr. is still strong defensively. Ja Morant, again, as we talked about earlier, has now refocused. I think that they have the best chance to take down OKC, so I would go OKC Memphis in the finals.
Okay.
Yeah. I still see the Lakers coming up with a final as long as Luka and them stay hot and they stay healthy. You got them in there. Memphis, of course, too. And then if Wemby comes back, Spurs are gonna come in there too. Popovich is gonna want to make another run, and he's got a young talent to do it.
Well, the 3 games out of the
If they don't get back soon, I don't see them making the playoffs.
Yeah,
if they had Wemby the whole time, they were probably going to make it, but
yeah,
it's tough now.
Yeah. Mark,
I'm going to say it's off the wall, but I actually think Denver and Houston.
Okay.
I had Houston and OKC. I can't be mad at Houston. Denver's obviously a threat. Can't say they're not.
Obviously in there too.
The biggest thing for me is I think no matter who represents the Western Conference, it's whoever finishes with the home game, the home series.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, I understand that's a big key factor. The same thing with the Eastern Conference. I mean, Cleveland, 4 losses at home. That's it. I mean, but that's when you look at the West, 25-4. But for me, it's like overall, when you look at the division record and the conference record, Houston is one of the best in the Western, conference. Same thing with Denver. So they're right there. They both have the top 3 record with the Western Conference. But just for me, like I said, I don't know. The veteran, the seasoning of Denver, the playoff runs, already winning a championship. That's where it's, for me, I think you have to put Denver in that consideration, right? Because they know what's up.
Teams. I mean, all 4 teams in the conference. I mean, you got 21-14, 22-13, 22-14, 23-12.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
They're all like a game or a half behind each other, and 2-5.
Mm-hmm. But for me, I no matter what, I got Denver. At the end of the day, there could be one. It could be one of those other 3. I'm going to stick with Houston though. But the big thing, like I said, is Denver with the playoff experience and all that. That's why I stick with Denver.
Yeah, I think when they lost Bruce, when they lost a couple of their pieces, I was kind of just the way that they've been looking didn't look like there's like a lot of people were scared of them, right? And the way that the Lakers played against them and dominated them, they didn't look the same. A lot of other playoff team caliber teams, they just didn't look the same. Denver. I think Memphis is on a high horse right now, but I think they'll get humbled in the playoffs. I don't think OKC is ready yet. Houston does look good. They look tough, but I also don't think that they're ready yet. I think Lakers will be in it with the experience and all that, with the coaching and stuff. I think the way that they're using their the way that they get in position and they run their plays, quick pace, they can slow it down. They need a 3, they get it. Clippers, no. I can see Golden State making a run. You can't count out Steph Curry when he's shooting. How many points did he have tonight?
56.
I stopped at 52. Yeah, 56.
Yeah, 56 points. I
As
mean,
long as
at
he's
any
there, then
yeah.
they'll still be there.
And then now they got Buddy Hield and them. You can't really count them out with him scoring at a high caliber. Minnesota is looking good with Ant-Man. He's been playing really well. So, like I said, and then you got Dallas, and then everybody else. I really don't. I mean, everybody else is out. But then you got
my
Dallas.
only argument for OKC is they've won now 6 in a row. One of their last 16 has been by single digits, and that was at 9 against the Jazz. So, I mean, they're blowing teams out. The point differential is insane. They've just got back healthy. Holmgren just got back. Jalen Williams is now the 6th man. Like, it just like I said, I think this team was built in the draft. They've been built for a couple years in free agency. Yeah. They're young. I think that may be a problem come playoff time, but SGA, man, he seems like a leader. He seems 100. Like somebody that could definitely get the job done.
Mm-hmm. No, and I totally agree with that. I don't got no dispute against that. The only thing for me is that they've been good for the last 3 years, right? Last year they were ranked 1, and it was a first round exit, right? And it just, for me, their style of play is they need like a dog. They need like somebody like a Marcus Smart, right? Like somebody who will get dirty or whatever. I think when they fall behind, they tend to like struggle with falling behind. And I just haven't seen a really good playoff OKC yet. I'm not saying that they're not capable. I'm not saying that they're not capable. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is they're looking a little bit like the Dallas Cowboys. They play really good in the season, and then when it get playoff time, it kind of like, where did they go? What happened to them? And it could be because of matchup. Like I'm telling y'all, it's different in the West. It could be matchup. Like if they play, like for instance, I'll give you an example, Fantasy. If the Thunder play against Memphis, I got OKC. I think OKC is better than Memphis. If OKC plays against Houston, I got OKC, right? If OKC plays against, that's it. If they play against the Clippers, I could see them beating the Clippers. But I don't see them beating Denver. I don't see them beating the Lakers. I don't see them beating Golden State. I don't see them beating Dallas. I don't see them beating Minnesota. You get what I'm saying? Like them teams are.
You don't see them beating Dallas?
Not with AD on the floor, and then you got Crawford and Lively.
Dallas. I mean, you got to think they got bigs of their own. They got Harvenstein.
That could go 7. That could go 7, and maybe we'll see.
I think they're gonna shock you this year. I think they're gonna shock you.
I hope so because they've been
give you the humble pie.
No, I got high hopes for him. I love SGA. I love his new shoes they just came out with. You know what I mean? I love them. You know what I mean? But I love to see them Wemby versus Holmgren when they used to go up against each other, big 2 7-footers. Like I love that matchup. So it's just
that's like watching 2 sticks rub them together.
Yeah, but it was both these guys shoot threes. Both these guys know how to dribble the basketball. Both these guys have the similar style of play. Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It's exactly what it is.
Well, I'm just over here imagining fucking 2 sticks on a court in this fucking.
Oh my god! All that being said, I'm probably gonna go Lakers against Minnesota in the finals.
Okay, I like Minnesota. I think they're a sleeper. Anthony Edwards is playing some serious ball.
If I was selfish, I would love to see the Lakers versus the against Mavericks, just because of all. Yeah, it's not gonna happen, but I would love to see that matchup just for the sake of entertainment. I would love to see. Yeah, I would love to see AD go against LeBron.
I think Lakers and Denver would be pretty entertaining.
We've seen that too much, though. We've seen that too much.
Have we seen Luka and LeBron against Jovic and Murray though? No, we haven't.
Nah, we haven't seen that. But I mean, I get your point. But
it's a new team. Like you gotta.
Yeah, it'll be cool. But that's what we got for today, man. Mark, hey, welcome back. We forgot to say that. Welcome back to the show, man.
I'm gonna talk crap with you guys.
He's back.
You
Back
know what? Well, you
again.
guys are gonna be thinking that every
Mark
time.
is
Next time you see them play, that's gonna be stuck in
Tell
your
a
mind.
friend. Mark is
Yeah,
back.
next time I see Wimby and Holgren play each other, I'm gonna be thinking of Mark.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. I'm sorry. People need to learn to eat.
They said they put it on weight.
Oh, hey,
though.
those are them international boys. They don't get that hardiness.
They need
No,
that.
well, the problem is, it's just that's the type of play now. Like it doesn't matter. Even watching, because obviously I'm a big college guy, first and foremost. But even when you look at college now, the guys that are here from the country, it's like it doesn't matter. That's just, it's kind of weird.
No, it is. Yeah. It is Cooper Flag. Cooper Flag's just as big. I mean, I'm a big Duke guy, but yeah, I mean, it really is. It's the new type.
I'm just like, I remember when I was, I'm going to age myself right now, being almost 45 years old. But I mean, dude, if you were right, but if if you were 6 foot, man, you were a giant when you were in high school or going into college. I mean, we have a cat that me and Mike, Dupree knows him too. Myron Epps, he was 6'6" as a freshman, ended up going to San Diego State on a full ride playing basketball down there, and that was impressive back then.
Yep.
It's like, dude, you barely 6'6", man. In college now, you're barely a point guard.
Right.
Yeah, you should come over here and watch them boys over at Bishop Gorman. 6'6" is a point guard at Bishop Gorman.
Yeah, pretty much.
But they still, like, what I'm saying, like, people need to have some size. Like, they need to come back. We need to go back. Like, dude, y'all lift weights?
Mark, we're not trying to create monsters over here, goddammit.
Yeah, that's my idea, man. I'm just like, give me monsters. That's what I'm talking about.
Mark wants it to be 7'3", 280 pounds. Goddamn,
boy.
Madness. What was his name from the?
DJ Burns. That was that boy.
Yeah,
Burns from NC State. Hey,
that dude was freaking bad.
That was giving us the business. I'm talking about. It looked like he was doing turnarounds and he was just in slow motion, bro. It was disgusting. It was disgusting.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
there is no reason why a person should be freaking 7'3", weighing 185 pounds.
Mark, we're not trying to build aliens out here.
I'm like, dude,
basketball.
My answer is this. If you're 6'8", you better be at least 225.
This is basketball. Not football. You only get a few of those. You get a Shaq or you get a LeBron, but you only get like.
Yeah, he want a baby Davis. The game is not like that no more. It's all fast paced. They want to keep up.
Mark said, if you ain't got 5 Shaqs on the floor, I ain't watching it.
Hey, and that is why I will always say Jordan is the GOAT.
I need 5 Shaqs versus 5 Dwight Howards. Get it done right now.
That's what I'm talking about. I would pay to see that.
Well, that's it, guys. I appreciate you guys for joining us. You can catch us every Wednesday at 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock PST. Super excited for everything that's going on. Fantasy is covering him and Sunshine's covering the Columbine right now. So go follow him. Go check them out on TikTok. Hopefully they're going to go live soon as well on YouTube. So catch them on the YouTube channels as well. But you can catch us every Wednesday at 6 p.m. PST time. Thank you guys for joining us again on another week of NBA. We're this much closer to talking about NFL again as soon as this draft gets going. But again, guys, have a great day. Thank you to all of our sponsors, and we will catch you guys. This is the Sports Lounge, powered by the Mogul Brand Corporation.